Hello, and welcome to the first meeting of the new Committee of Adjustment of the City of Port Colborne. Thank you all for joining us. Before we get down to business, first order of business, I suppose, will be that we need to have a quick election for the chair of the Committee of Adjustment. So I am now taking nominations for the Committee of Adjustment.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. I'd like to nominate Dan O'Hara for chair.
I was actually going to second that nomination.
Oh, perfect. Well, Dan, do you accept the nomination?
I would, yeah.
Perfect. And we've got a mover and a seconder. That it be carried. That Dan O'Hara be elected the chair of the Committee of Adjustment.
Don't we have to do a vote? You don't have to do a vote? Sure, yeah. You had first.
We'll vote for the vice chair. There we go.
Thank you, everyone. The second order of business is to elect the vice chair. Do I have a recommendation or a nomination? Or Dave?
I'll nominate Angie.
Awesome. Angie, you good with that?
Sure.
Seconder? Gary? All those in favor? Gary, you're it. All right. So with that being said, so with that being said, for tonight's hearing, I'm going to go through the protocol that we've been using up to date, just for those people in the audience and those people are at home watching. We have 2 properties with 5 applications that we'll be hearing this evening. So we'll go through each one of those applications. The Secretary Treasurer will read out each application, and because we have multiples for each property, kind of do both at the same time. And then we will ask that the agent for the applicant or the applicant come into the meeting. At that time, they can be add any additional comments that they have on that application. Following that, committee members will have the opportunity to ask any questions that they have of the applicant or the agent for the applicant. And then following that, members of the public who wish to speak to an application will be afforded an opportunity to do so at that time. I will ask that they try to limit their comments to 10 minutes if they can, and present all questions or comments that they have in that time frame. Just a word of note that if you don't ask all of your questions or comments in that time frame, you may not necessarily be permitted to speak to that same application again. Following all public comments, the applicant or the agent for the applicant will be afforded some time to add any additional comments if they wish. Then the committee will make a decision in the form of a motion. It'll be moved and seconded, and it will be voted upon. If a vote is tied, a motion will be defeated, or if a motion is defeated, a new motion will be made until we have a decision. Notices of decision will only be provided to those persons who leave their name and address in writing with the Secretary Treasurer, and there's a sign-in page on the table at the back for anyone that's attending here. If you're watching online, you can email Diana Vasu, that's all right, diana.vasu@portcolborne.ca immediately after the meeting, or you can call 905-835-2900 extension 204 and leave a message, again, directly after the meeting or first thing in the morning. It should also be noted that in order to be kept advised of any possible Ontario Land Tribunal hearings, persons must request to be sent a copy of the committee's decision on an application. 1 additional or 2 additional housekeeping rules, which I'm going to do right now. If anyone can put their phones on silent mode or turn them off. And anyone that's asking questions, if you can address them through the chair and not directly to the person that's being questioned. The other items that we're going to quickly talk about initially is any conflicts of interest. So I will ask if there's any conflicts of interest of any committee members of applications this evening. Not seeing any. And I don't think we've had any requests to defer any applications to date. For those that are online, because coming into the meeting at the start, an applicant, I'll re-ask that question once they come into the meeting electronically. So with that being said, I will turn it over to the Secretary Treasurer for the first application, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I will just go ahead and admit our first applicants of the evening. Hello, Michael. Can you hear us? Michael, you are muted.
Oh, hi, yes. Hello.
Perfect. One sec, we're just adjusting the audio. Michael, do you want to say hello again?
Hello. Hi, everybody.
There's another speaker right behind your laptop.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Zoom room is through there. Coming through? No, it is, it's just all quiet.
Good.
That speaker testing. Yeah. Why don't you just read in the application while we figure out the...
Perfect. All right. So while we figure out the audio here, I will begin. Our first applications for tonight are B01-23-PC and A01-23-PC. In the matter of the Planning Act, RSO 1990 CP 13, Section 53(1) as amended, and Section 6.3A and C of the City of Port Colborne zoning bylaw 6575/30/18 as amended, and in the matter of the lands legally known as Part Lot 17, 25, 26, and 27, Block A on Plan 775 and 839. So, okay, can we take questions now? No?
I don't know if you could just maybe speak louder. Is there a
Hello?
volume in the room?
My speaker's on here.
I don't have control of this room.
No? Can I maybe move this closer?
Maybe just
They don't move, eh?
You just gotta lean towards it.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Up the volume when you're closer.
Up the volume. Gotta project a little more. Okay. I'll start again just to make sure. Can you hear me okay now? No?
Probably gonna just project more.
Can you hear me like this?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
And our audience in the room with us, can you hear me as well?
I'll take that as
No?
Can you hear her now? No.
No?
Better,
Oh.
but not, I can't make out the words.
Oh, can you hear me a little bit better like this? It's okay, no worries. I just want to make sure you're able to hear. Can you hear me?
Ma'am, if you want, you can come up to the table in front there.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
There should be a speaker right in front there.
Come up as close as you like.
You want to sit up here?
There?
Yeah.
Might be better.
Thank you.
No problem at all.
Perfect. Is this a little better there?
Better.
Better? Perfect. Our first applications for tonight are B01-23-PC and A01-23-PC. In the matter of the Planning Act, RSO 1990 CP 13, Section 53(1) as amended, and Section 6.3A and C of the City of Port Colborne zoning bylaw 6575/30/18 as amended, and in the matter of the lands legally known as Part Lot 17, 25, 26, and 27, Block A on Plan 775 and 839, in the city of Port Colborne, located in the second density residential zone, municipally known as 194 Neff Street, and in the matter of an application by the owners Fangzi Wealth Corp. Limited and Lubomir Manolavic for consent for the purpose of creating a new lot. The subject parcels are shown as parts 1 and 2 on the proposed sketch, where part 1 is to be severed for future residential use, and part 2 is to be retained for existing residential use. And in the matter of an application by the same owners for relief from the provisions of zoning bylaw 6575/30/18 as amended under section 45 of the Planning Act RSO 1990 CP 13 to permit a reduced lot area and lot frontage to part 1 to facilitate a concurrent severance application under application B01-23-PC, notwithstanding the following. Number 1, that a minimum lot frontage of 11.82 meters be permitted, whereas 12 meters is required in the R2 zone. Number 2, that a minimum lot area of 393 meters squared be permitted, whereas 400 meters squared is required in the R2 zone. A notice of both applications were circulated to the public on January 4th, 2023, and the required agencies on December 21st, 2022. As of today, the following comments have been received. No comments were received from the public. Neither the fire department nor the drainage superintendent have any objections to the proposed applications. The engineering technologist recommended that a master lot grading plan be provided to ensure the severed parcel will drain independently without adversely affecting the adjacent property, and stated that a municipal consent permit will be required for work within the city's right-of-way. Given the information in the planning report regarding application B01-23-PC, planning staff recommend application B01-23-PC be granted, subject to the following conditions. Number 1, that the applicant provides the secretary-treasurer with the deeds in triplicate for the conveyance of the subject parcel or a registrable legal description of the subject parcel, together with a paper copy and electronic copy of the deposited reference plan, if applicable, for use in the issuance of the certificate of consent. Number 2, that a final certification fee of $231 payable to the City of Port Colborne is submitted to the Secretary-Treasurer. Number 3, that the applicant submits a master lot grading plan demonstrating that the severed parcel will drain independently and will not adversely affect surrounding properties to the satisfaction of city staff. Number 4, that the existing chain link fence on Part 1 be removed. Number 5, that minor variance application A01-23-PC be approved. Number 6, that the applicant sign the City of Port Colborne's standard memorandum of understanding explaining the development charges and cash in lieu of the dedication of land for park purposes based on an appraisal at the expense of the applicant wherein the value of the land is to be determined as of the day before the issuance of a building permit is required prior to the issuance of a building permit pursuant to Section 42 of the Planning Act RSO 1990 as amended. Number 7, that all conditions of consent be completed by January 18th, 2025 for the following reasons. The application is consistent with the provincial policy statement and conforms to the growth plan for the Greater Golden Horseshoe, the regional official plan, the City of Port Colborne official plan, and will also comply with the provisions of zoning bylaw 6575/30/18 as amended. Furthermore, given the information in the planning report regarding application A01-23-PC, planning staff recommends application A01-23-PC be granted for the following reasons. Number 1, the application is minor in nature as the decreased lot frontage and lot area would still provide enough space for a dwelling and enough amenity space to ensure there is no negative impact on the subject parcel. Number 2, it is appropriate for the development of the site as both the retained and severed lots would be of sufficient size and the proposal is compatible with most of the zoning bylaw requirements. Number 3, it is desirable and in compliance with the general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw, as the proposed variance would still provide the owner with enough space for amenities and parking, and the lot fabric of the proposed lots would be similar to those existing in the area. Number 4, it is desirable and in compliance with the general intent and purpose of the official plan, as lot creation for residential purposes is permitted in the urban residential designation established in the official plan. And that concludes the correspondence of these applications.
Thank you. The applicant is in the meeting. I think you can still hear us. I can see you on the screen.
Yes, I'm here. Yes.
I didn't ask you when you first came in, but I'll ask you now. You don't wish to defer this application at all?
No.
Okay.
Would like to. Yeah.
Very good. Is there anything further you'd like to add at this time?
Not at this time. Yeah.
Thank you. Any committee members have any questions of the applicant? Eric?
Through you, Mr. Chair, to the applicant. I noticed there's quite a bit of trees on the property. Are you intending to knock any of these trees down for the proposed development? Or, yeah, sorry.
There will be one tree in the middle of the lot. I believe that's a sick tree. That tree will be to be cut down.
Okay.
So there will be one tree right in front, in the middle, right on the lawn there. It right now is currently pretty ill. That tree looks like around 30 years old. It's one of those proper tree.
Okay.
Yes.
And I have, through you, Mr. Chair, to Chris. Typically, because there's no proposed development, it's just a building envelope provided on the sketch. And I mean, this property could be severed and then just sold. There's concrete patio shown on the sketch, there's patio stones and there's concrete that seem to that are on the severed parcel. Is it not typical practice to make it so that those be removed on the newly created parcel?
Through you, Mr. Chair, to Member Beauregard. Yeah, we could add that as a condition if the committee would like. It's I guess I know in the past I think we've done things like that. So if you wanted to add it as a condition, that's definitely something that we could do.
Okay. I would like to propose an amendment to the recommendation that there be a condition that the patio stone and concrete that traverse onto the newly created parcel, which is part 1 on the severance sketch, be removed to the satisfaction of the planning department.
Dave?
Thank you, Chair, through you to Eric. So you're talking about just the portion of the concrete pad and the stones that go over the newly created lot line?
That's correct.
Okay, so just anything to the line is okay, anything over the line be removed. Okay, just clarity.
Anybody else have any questions of the applicant? Not seeing any. Do we have any registered online people? No? Ma'am, do you wish to speak to this application? Do you wish to speak to this application? You have questions about this particular application?
I'm not sure which lot I'm on. I think I'm on 17.
Do you currently live on at this address? You're on Neff Street? Ma'am, do you live on Neff Street?
Yes.
Okay.
206
Okay.
Neff Street.
So if I could, before you add any comments, just your name, and we already got your address, it's 207F, but just your name for the record, and then you can ask any questions that you like. We just need your name for the record.
Oh, Nancy Horn.
Okay, and then ask any questions that you like. Dave, can you just maybe grab the microphone? There you go. Ask any questions that you like.
I think I'm on 17-206.
So I think
It's
that,
on, the house is on my left side.
yep, so this is an F Street here.
Yep.
Property's right here. I think that 206 would likely be on this side over here.
Yeah, I thought it was that one.
Yeah,
Because I did get some of the corner cut off. Where the fence was.
right. Do you have any issues with what's being proposed tonight?
Yeah, I have a lot of issues.
Okay, well, what kind of issues do
It's
you have?
gonna be a 2-story house, as far as I know. I will not get any sun because it's on the east side of me, and I won't get any sun till the late afternoon. Till noon, anyway. And there are 2 trees on the corner of that lot. They don't belong to me. They're in the backyard. They're in my backyard. It's full of robins. Are they going to have to take those trees down?
To the applicant, the tree that, do you know which tree she's referring to in the backyard?
They're just going to take the one tree down?
It sounded like the one that was more in the middle. Is that what he said? Michael?
I don't think there's, if the tree's on, so do you mean the tree that goes over to your house side, over the fence? Is that tree that you're referring to?
I believe so.
Do you remember we have a conversation that way back when we cleaned up the lot? Was that the one close to the poison ivy that you mentioned? Or the one more towards the front of the house?
Oh, it's the crabapple tree. No, I'm
Yeah.
asking about the 2 on the back fence behind my garage.
So it looks like the 2 trees at the back of the property.
So those trees can be stayed, it doesn't affect.
They're going to stay. Fine.
Yes.
Now, there's 3 driveways in a row there. Where are we going to put the winter snow?
As far as the snow removal goes, basically you gotta either leave it on the median in the front, or it has to stay on your property. So
On
when
the
you,
front lawn?
either from your driveway would be on the front line, and from their driveway would have to be on their front lawn, or on the median between the road and the property line in the front of the building.
There's no room on the medium.
So then it would have to stay on the front lawn, to each side.
If I could, Mr. Chair, so I think what the chairman's saying, ma'am, is that you have to keep your snow on your property, and they have to keep their snow on their property, if that helps.
Okay.
That's all I understand, is that correct? Chris, is that correct?
It's not a very big front lawn to put all that snow. And I don't like having a 2-story house. I'm 1 story. They're looking down on me.
Is that the remainder of your comments, ma'am?
But,
Do you have any other comments?
pardon?
Do you have any other comments or questions of the application?
Do you have any other comments?
Pardon?
Would you like to add any other comments?
I can't hear you either.
Okay. Would you like to add any other comments about the application?
No, I can't think of any right now. Thank you.
Thank you. With that being said, I'll address the house issue. As far as whatever is being proposed to be built there is within the bylaw. So we're not here to discuss. We can't limit what is built there. So as long as it's within the current zoning bylaws, they can build whatever they like within that property boundary. It's just so you know. And if a two-story is permitted, then they'll be able to build a two-story on that property, unfortunately. So with that, does anyone else have any other questions? Does the applicant have any questions to finish off things?
No, I'm good.
Thank you. So with that, does anyone have a recommendation? Gary?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. With respect to application AO1-23-PC, matter of the lands legally known as Part Lot 17, 25, 26, and 27, Block A on Plan 775 and 839, municipally known as 194 Neff Street. The minor variance application AO1-23PC be granted for the following reasons. 1, the application is minor in nature, as the decreased lot frontage and lot area would still provide enough space for a dwelling and enough amenity space to ensure there is no negative impact on the subject parcel. 2, it is appropriate for the development of the site as both the retained and severed lots would be sufficient size and the proposal is compatible with most of the zoning bylaw requirements. 3, it is desirable in compliance with the general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw, as the proposed variance would still provide the owner with enough space for amenities and parking, and the lot fabric of the proposed lots would be similar to those existing in the area. And 4, it is desirable in compliance with the general intent and purpose of the official plan, as lot creation for residential purposes is permitted in the urban residential designation established in the official plan.
Can I get a seconder to that? Eric? Just before we go to a vote on that, did we want to do the other one at the same time? Or do you want to do one and then we can do the second one? Because there's a severance too. And if you could, if you're going to read the consent, if you can add in Eric's additional.
What's for AO123? BO1, sorry.
Yeah.
BO2, right?
BO1.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you. Respect to application B0123PC, the matter of the lands legally known as Part Lot 17, 25, 26, and 27, Block A, and on Plan 775 and 839, municipally known as 194 Neff Street. The consent application B0123PC be granted subject to the conditions outlined in the staff report dated January 13, 2022. There are 7 conditions currently. I'd like to add an amendment condition that the all concrete materials on the newly created lot be removed to the satisfaction of the City of Port Colborne.
Thank you.
And for the following reasons. The application is consistent with the provincial policy statement and conforms to the growth plan for the Greater Golden Horseshoe, the regional official plan, the City of Port Colborne official plan, and will also comply with the provisions of zoning bylaw 6575/30/18 as amended.
Thank you. Seconder to that, Eric? Questions or comments? Did that condition address Eric?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I just would like to make an amendment to that, just to include the patio stones. You said the concrete, but also
All concrete, so it wouldn't cover that? Is it all concrete?
Concrete patio stones.
I can jump in there. Yeah, it's on the sketch. It does say concrete and patio stones. We can word it in the decision to say concrete and patio stones just to make it
Yeah,
easier.
just for clarity.
Very good. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor on both applications? Both? Both? That'll be carried. Thank you. There is a 20-day waiting period for appeals, but after that, you can start proceeding with meeting the conditions and proceeding forward.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then, Madam Secretary, the next few applications whenever you're ready.
Beautiful, thank you. Let me just say bye-bye, Mike. And admit the other one. Perfect. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair, for the floor. Our final applications, first of all, our new person in the Zoom room here, Mr. Mike, can you hear me? Your microphone is muted. There you go.
Thank
Hello?
you. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, yep. And you can hear us okay as well? I hope.
I was just about to log off. It said I got kicked out.
You're back in. It's your time to shine. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Perfect. All right. Our final applications for tonight are B02-23-PC, A02-23-PC, and A03-23-PC. In the matter of the Planning Act, RSO 1990 CP 13, Section 53(1) as amended, and Section 7.6A, B, and D of the City of Port Colborne Zoning Bylaw 6575/30/18 as amended, and in the matter of the lands legally known as Part Lot F on Reference Plan 59R-13389 in the City of Port Colborne, located in the 3rd Density Residential Zone, municipally known as 248 Port Colborne Drive, and in the matter of an application by the agent Connor Rush on behalf of the applicant 1703306 Ontario Incorporated for consent for the purpose of creating a new lot. The subject parcels are shown on the proposed sketch as Part 1 to be severed and Part 2 to be retained, where both lots are to be for future residential use. A fourplex is under construction on the current lot. The applicant would like one half of the fourplex to be situated on Part 1 and the other half of the fourplex on Part 2. And in the matter of an application by the same owners for relief from the provisions of Zoning Bylaw 6575/30/18 as amended under Section 45 of the Planning Act, RSO 1990 CP 13, to permit a reduced lot area, lot frontage, and interior side yard setback to Part 1 to facilitate a concurrent severance application under application B02-23-PC, notwithstanding the following. Number 1, that a minimum lot frontage of 11.7 meters be permitted, whereas 18 meters is required in the R3 zone. Number 2, that a minimum lot area of 316.3 meters squared be permitted, whereas 500 meters squared is required in the R3 zone. Number 3, that a minimum interior side yard setback of 0 meters be permitted, whereas 1.2 meters is required in the R3 zone. And in the matter of an application by the same owners for relief from the provisions of Zoning Bylaw 6575/30/18 as amended, under Section 45 of the Planning Act, RSO 1990 CP 13, so as to permit a reduced lot area, lot frontage, and interior side yard setback to Part 2 in order to facilitate a concurrent severance application under application B02-23-PC, notwithstanding the following. Number 1, that a minimum lot frontage of 12.4 meters be permitted, whereas 18 meters is required in the R3 zone. Number 2, that a minimum lot area of 336.6 meters squared be permitted, whereas 500 meters squared is required in the R3 zone. Number 3, that a minimum interior side yard setback of 0 meters be permitted, whereas 1.2 meters is required in the R3 zone. A notice of all 3 applications were circulated to the public on January 4th, 2023, and the required agencies on December 21st, 2022. As of today, the following comments have been received. No comments from the public were received. Neither the fire department nor the drainage superintendent have any objections to the proposed applications. The engineering technologist noted that an as-constructed lot grading plan remains outstanding and that the current lot grading does not match the proposed lot grading plan that was approved by the city at the building permit stage. He has found that the current lot grading is adversely affecting neighboring properties and as such recommended the submission of a revised grading plan which meets the city's lot grading bylaw 2464/80/90. He notes that the driveway is not constructed as proposed and is in violation of the city's entrance bylaw 1117/64/81. He recommends that the proposed parcels drain independently of one another or a mutual agreement drain will be required on title. Finally, the engineering technologist states that the sanitary laterals appear to be installed in a common trench along the proposed severance line with little separation, and thus, if the sanitary laterals are not wholly contained on each parcel, he recommends an easement for future maintenance. Given the information in the planning report regarding application B02-23-PC, planning staff recommend application B02-23-PC be granted, subject to the following conditions. Number 1, that the applicant provides the Secretary-Treasurer with the deeds in triplicate for the conveyance of the subject parcel or a registrable legal description of the subject parcel, together with a paper copy and electronic copy of the deposited reference plan, if applicable, for use in the issuance of the certificate of consent. Number 2, that a final certification fee of $231 payable to the City of Port Colborne is submitted to the Secretary-Treasurer. Number 3, that the applicant provide a revised grading plan that includes the concrete walkways, air conditioners, and entrances to the buildings and driveways to the satisfaction of city staff. Number 4, that the applicant revise the driveway entrance to meet the requirements of bylaw 1117/64/81. Number 5, that the applicant provide a plan showing the existing sewer laterals will be wholly contained on each parcel. In the event that they are not, an easement may be required. Number 6, that minor variance applications A02-23-PC and A03-23-PC be granted. Number 7, that all conditions of consent be completed by January 18th, 2025 for the following reasons. The application is consistent with the provincial policy statement and conforms to the growth plan for the Greater Golden Horseshoe, the regional official plan, the City of Port Colborne official plan, and will also comply with the provisions of zoning bylaw 6575/30/18 as amended. Furthermore, given the information in the planning reports regarding applications A02-23-PC and A03-23-PC, planning staff recommends applications A02-23-PC and A03-23-PC be granted for the following reasons. Number 1, the applications are minor in nature as the decrease in interior side yard setback and lot area would still provide enough space for the existing fourplex and enough amenity space for its occupants while also maintaining similar lot sizes to neighboring parcels. Number 2, they are appropriate for the development of the site as the development is existing, located in a suitable location on the site, and fourplexes are permitted within the R3 zone. Number 3, they are desirable and in compliance with the general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw, as the proposal meets the majority of the R3 setbacks and lot coverage requirements, and the existing fourplex provides adequate parking and amenity space. Number 4, they are desirable and in compliance with the general intent and purpose of the official plan, as fourplexes are permitted in the urban residential designation established in the official plan. And that concludes the correspondence of these applications.
Thank you. To the applicant, since you just came in at the start, do you wish to defer or withdraw your application this evening?
No, thank you.
Is there anything further you'd like to add at this time?
Just that the properties are not under construction anymore. They're rented out and they're finished construction. We're just finishing the grading.
Okay. With regards to the staff reports about the sewer laterals, do you have any comments with regards to that?
I need to follow up on that. If they are not separated, then we'll have to go the route of the easement.
Okay. With that, Eric?
Through you, Mr. Chair, to Chris, Mr. Room. If they have to go get an easement because the sanitary laterals cross or too close to the line, does that mean that the applicant would have to come back to this committee to grant that easement in order for it to be in perpetuity?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair, yes, he would have to come back and apply for an easement application.
Okay, so just making sure that the applicant is aware that that may be the case.
Yes.
Thank you. Anyone else got any questions of the applicant? Dave?
Thank you, Chair. Through you, question and or comments. You just stated that your grading is underway. Did you submit the grading plan to staff to have them approve the plan?
When we didn't actually do the grading plan. We purchased this off of the client who did the grading plan. So we have to do a revised grading plan now. That's why the comments are as such.
Okay, so you just stated that you are in a process of grading the property.
Yeah, we're getting a new grading. We've hired our own grading surveyor to do that. So we're into the process of finishing that up. Yes.
Okay, that was my question. Whether you have a grading plan in process before you actually start physically doing it.
Correct. It hasn't been started on site, and it has not been submitted to the city yet. It's being created through Laroc.
Okay, thank you. And the second question has to deal with the driveway. It is in violation of a city bylaw. Are you going to remedy that situation as well?
That's part of the grading as well, yeah.
Okay. And then just one comment. When I did receive this and saw that the conditions had until January 18th, 2025, I have a real issue with that, seeing how two of the conditions that the technologists wanted to have remedied are violations of bylaws. So a 2-year period to remedy for conditions is way beyond measure. You should, if a situation like this comes up, I would give you one building season, which is the summertime, and by November the 1st, if you're not finished what you're supposed to do, come back and see us at another date. But to go for 2 years, I would not accept that, especially on something where bylaw comes into play. So those are my comments. I'm glad to see that you're working on the conditions now, and I'm sorry that you bought the property and didn't know that the issues were there. Buyer beware, I guess, but before this goes forward, yeah, just get those conditions met, especially those two. Thank you.
Eric?
Through you, Mr. Chair, to Mr. Room. The 2-year time frame to fulfill the conditions, that's a statutory requirement and cannot be amended, correct?
Through you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, that's correct. It used to be 1 year. I believe it was sometime last year. It was kind of amended to be 2 years. So the requirement is that they have 2 years to complete their conditions.
Okay. One other thing. When looking at the sketch, especially since the comments from our engineering technologist involves the driveway, I don't see the driveway on this. Oh, no, never mind.
Well,
No, actually, I don't. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't see the driveway, and I'm kind of surprised that we brought this to us without the driveway being shown on the sketch.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair. So the reason that came up was because during his circulation, he did review of the property, found all the old permits, which identified where the location of the driveway was supposed to be installed. So that's kind of what triggered it. Yeah.
To that, do we know how far away the driveway is to the intersection? You said less than 8 meters, but.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I don't have a record of it written. I remember speaking with Nick about it. I think he probably said it's around 4 meters off the top of my head. But he did do a measurement. He knows. I can follow up with him and find out. But the requirement is 8, and they're not meeting it is really the bottom line.
Okay. That's all.
Thank you. Just to your point, Dave, about if they're in violation of the zoning bylaw, to me, there's no reason why zoning can't go out and remedy that situation under the Planning Act right now. The condition, the 2-year condition, is simply to sever it. But if it's in violation now without it being severed, then it's still a remediable situation sooner than that through the current bylaw, I would think. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, it's my opinion that the best way to remedy it is make it a condition, because it kind of forces them to
100%.
do it, because otherwise they won't get their consent. As much as I hate to admit it, sometimes bylaw enforcement gets very, very tricky to do, especially with this is a public works bylaw. If this was a zoning bylaw or one of our more frequently violated bylaws, there's like more regulated ways of going about dealing with it. This one I've never had to deal with off the top of my head, so I don't know how Public Works deals with their violations, but if it was a zoning bylaw, it's a lot easier for us to enforce. We could have even added it on as a variance, right? So the fact that it's a Public Works bylaw makes it a little bit trickier, but the fact that we have it as a condition is really helpful for us, because it really has, I know it's 2 years, it's a bit long, but there is at least, they have to have it done before they can get their certificate. So if they want their certificate quickly, then they'll have to remedy the issue pretty quickly.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? We didn't have any public members online. Ma'am, you didn't want to speak to this application, did you?
Pardon?
This particular application, you didn't want to speak to this one, did you? This one's not near your house, but you're still here, so I was just wondering. I wanted to make sure.
I can leave if you want.
Oh, no, you don't have to leave. I'm just saying, did you have any comments on this particular application?
No, I guess I'm done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So with that being said, does the applicant have any final comments?
No, as long as we can get the current paperwork that shows the driveway the way it was approved.
I see.
It was originally approved for 4-unit building, so I'm assuming the approval came with 4 parking spots.
Right, through the chair to the applicant. Yes, it did. The parking was proposed in a manner that was that did meet the bylaw. The way it was installed isn't. So we can probably get you the original sketches that were submitted at the time of the permit.
That would help out, yes.
All right. If there's nothing else, does anyone have a recommendation? Eric.
Let me just pull that up.
And if you want, you could do all 3 together or separately.
Oh, don't worry. I was going to do all 3.
Okay.
Sorry. Sorry, I'm trying to find it.
And Dave?
Yeah.
Okay.
In the matter of application B02-23-PC, and in the matter of the lands legally known as Part Lot F on Reference Plan 59R 13389, municipally known as 248 Port Colborne Drive. That consent application B02-23-PC be granted subject to the conditions outlined in the staff report dated January 13th, 2022. And it be approved for the following reasons. The application is consistent with the provincial policy statement and conforms to the growth plan for the Greater Golden Horseshoe, the regional official plan, City of Port Colborne official plan, and will also comply with the provisions of zoning bylaw 6575/30/18 as amended. And that's all. Oh, and do the other two? That's for the consent. And in the matter of application AO2-23-PC, and in the matter of the lands legally known as Part Lot F on Reference Plan 59R-13389, municipally known as 248 Port Colborne Drive, that minor variance application AO2-23PC be granted for the following reasons. One, the application is minor in nature as the decrease in interior side yard setback and lot area would still provide enough space for the existing fourplex and enough amenity space for its occupants, while also maintaining similar lot sizes to neighboring parcels. Two, it is appropriate for the development of the site as the development is existing, located in a suitable location on the site, and fourplexes are permitted within the R3 zone. Three, it is desirable and in compliance with the general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw as the proposal meets the majority of the R3 setback and lot coverage requirements in the existing fourplex, provides adequate parking and amenity space. 4, it is desirable and in compliance with the general intent and purpose of the official plan as fourplexes are permitted in the urban residential designation. And in the matter of application AO3-23PC, and in the matter of lands legally known as Part Lot F on Reference Plan 59R-13389, municipally known as 248 Port Colborne Drive, that minor variance application AO3-23PC be granted for the following reasons. The application is minor in nature as a decrease in the interior side yard. This almost sounds like the same thing. Okay, sorry, yeah, because it's two, my bad. One for one side, one for the other. As a decrease in interior side yard setback and lot area would still provide enough space for the existing fourplex and enough amenity space for its occupants while also maintaining similar lot sizes to neighboring parcels. 2, it is appropriate for the development of the site as the development is existing, located in suitable location on the site, and fourplexes are permitted within the R3 zone. It is desirable. 3, it is desirable and in compliance with the general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw as the proposal meets the majority of the R3 setback and lot coverage requirements, and the existing fourplex provides adequate parking and amenity space. 4, it is desirable and in compliance with the general intent and purpose of the official plan as fourplexes are permitted in the urban residential designation established in the official plan. And that is all.
Thank you. A seconder to that? Eric? Questions or comments? All those in favor? That'll be carried. Thank you. There is a 20-day waiting period, and as Mr. Rome has mentioned, if you contact City Hall, they can give you that lot grading plan that was there where the entrance was approved for, if that's a good starting point for you.
Okay, thanks very much, everybody.
Thank you. So that concludes the applications this evening. Under other business, we were presented a meeting schedule for 2023. I believe we're sticking to the same second Wednesday of every month at 6 o'clock. If everyone's good with that, I'll ask for mover and a seconder to adopt that schedule. Gary, Angie, all those in favor? That'll be carried. And the last item on the agenda is the minutes from the November 9th, 2022 Committee of Adjustment meeting. Mover and a seconder. Gary, Dave, even though you weren't here. All those in favor? That'll be carried. And that I will conclude our meeting this evening and consider ourselves adjourned.